Hey everyone, welcome into the Scoreboard. On today's show, we visit Christie Sports, we get educated on safety from the Vail Police Department, and we take a look back at our interview with Davis Hermes, recently named the Highline Freestyle World Champion for 2022. Up first, Good Morning Vail host Kevin Shields got the chance to sit down with the Vail Police to talk about being safe while participating in our favorite outdoor sports and activities.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. We talk a lot, whether it's talking about being on the roadways or out there on the trails and having fun, just to be safe and take care of yourself. Well, I'm here with Sergeant Chris Botkins from the Vail Police Department to kind of go over some things that are going on and some tips when you're out there.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, you are so involved in the community. You and the Vail Police Department get out there and do things and interact with everyone in the community. I know we talk about during the holiday season, shop with a cop, but you've got some community outreach programs now going on.
Yeah, we've got some big events coming up. It's kind of the peak of that summer event season. We kind of kicked it off yesterday. We had our first Town of Vail community picnic out at Bighorn Park out in East Vail. Nice. Great turnout. A couple hundred people showed up. It was a great day out there to interact with everybody. And if you missed that one, we've got another one coming up on August 9th at Donovan Pavilion from 11:30 to 1. So come on out there, enjoy some lunch. Tons of different town departments. Obviously, the police department will be out there, but fire department will be out there talking about wildfire safety and mitigation, short-term rentals, noxious weeds, all the different solar power events coming up. So it'll be a great event coming up.
That's neat to get out there and interact with the community. I know everybody appreciates it. They always have fun. And now open houses and things like that you've got going on?
Yeah, a couple big ones also. First couple weeks of August, we have National Night Out coming up. And then that is obviously a national event, happens throughout the country on the first Tuesday in August. That'll be August 2nd this year. Our event in Vail is going to be at Station 3 out in West Vail, the fire department there, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So we'll have all different activities out there. We'll have our mobile communications unit, and of course, most importantly, a bouncy house, hot dogs and hamburgers and all that kind of stuff.
That is the most important part. You gotta get the bouncy house and hot dogs. You know, check out the community center and everything, but get into the bouncy house, get a hot dog. And
that's it. And those events are happening throughout the county too. Avon's holding 3 different locations. Eagle County is down in Edwards, Eagle, Gypsum, Basalt. So all around the same time frame on the same night. So whatever community you live in right there, there's going to be one available for you.
Nice. Now, one thing I really enjoy seeing is the cohesiveness of all the police departments. You've got Vail, obviously, Avon, Gypsum. We were talking earlier about I was out for Gypsum Days, and I saw a lot of the officers over there kind of helping out. It's kind of neat to see that synergy happen between all the departments.
Yeah, with all these big events, you know, we utilize it in Vail for all our large events. We always try to incorporate different agencies in there because simply we don't have the staffing to get all the officers there that we need to make the event safe, and vice versa down for Gypsum Days and the Avon fireworks or drone show, those kind of things. We all work interdispersed. So
yeah, and then with the fire department too, you know, the community outreach programs with the open house and all that kind of stuff. So the National Night Out's a big one, and that draws everybody together. Now, I was talking earlier when we were doing the road report about some safety out on the roads as people are out there. What other tips do you have?
You know, the name of the game this time of year with all the construction going on, and you know, it's a big inconvenience out there, but it's patience. Right. You know, have patience. Not everybody knows the rules of the road. When you're dealing with roundabouts and things like that, not everybody's used to those. Is just be patient, drive defensively, keep your head on a swivel, so to speak, so you know what's going on around you. And drive as predictably as possible. Right. Try to, not make any sudden turns or stuff like that, and expect everybody else to make those sudden turns.
Right. So yeah. I hate to say the word profile, but I do this a lot as I'm driving around. You see license plates, and if you see somebody from out of state, I don't want to mention any states in particular, but a lot of them don't know how to navigate in and out of a roundabout. So you do have to be very patient, drive defensively, and keep your eyes on the road and off your phone.
Exactly. We were talking earlier, sometimes it's difficult for us as law enforcement to tell the difference between somebody who's driving while intoxicated or somebody who's just messing around on their phone looking for directions or something like that. So yeah, stay off the phones and keep your eyes on the road.
Yeah, impaired drivers and drivers just on their phones, they kind of drive in that same weaving motion.
Yes, just not paying attention. Yeah.
Now, how about wildlife? We've had a lot of rainfall, a lot of things different this year. How's the wildlife situation been?
The wildlife, at least in Vail, has been very good this year. Because of the rain, like you said, those berry crops and all the different plants that the bears normally eat are keeping them up out of town to a certain extent. In addition to that, we've taken a little bit more harsh stance on our enforcement for dawn to dusk or animals entering your trash cans, leaving them out when you're not supposed to, things like that.
Right.
If you've received a warning before, more than likely you're going to get a citation or a summons this time. So that's helped a little bit in educating the public, a little bit more enforcement
Right.
education. So, but it's been very good this year.
Nice, nice. Well, I can't thank you enough for all you do, Sergeant. You're out there keeping us safe, and the entire Vail Police Department, Avon Police Department, and Gypsum Police Department, again, working hand in hand to make sure these events are safe and controlled. And again, everything you guys do, we greatly appreciate.
Absolutely. Glad to do it.
Well, be safe out there on the roads, and we'll be back in a moment with more.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard. I'm your host, Blake O'Rulian. Next, we travel over to Christie Sports, where we learn a little bit about the sports and adventure gear that they have to offer.
If you're getting out and about this summer, it's really important that you have the right gear, and Christie Sports here in Vail Village can gear you up head to toe to get out there and hit the mountains. And we're here with Jason Noakes. Good morning, Jason.
Maddie, how are you?
I'm so much better now that I'm here in Christie Sports.
Yeah, it's good to see you. It's been a while.
It has been a while, and you guys have expanded already. So we're in the new part of the Christie Sports here in Vail, making it a little bit bigger, nice and convenient.
Yeah, so we've got a new space out on the backside of the store on Bridge Street. Super proud of this space, particularly for the summertime. We've gone head to toe in hiking gear, which is something we haven't done before. As you can see, a big range of backpacks, all the accessories that go with the backpacks, the bladders, with the hiking stuff. We do rentals as well, which is, I don't think anyone else in the valley is doing that. Correct me if I'm wrong, there could be, but it's something we've just started. You can rent out waterproof gear, head to toe, jacket and pants for $19.95 a day. And we do hiking backpacks we rent out with trekking poles as well, Maddie.
There's so many great things that you can just come into Christie Sports and get. So if you're here visiting and you don't want to pack all of that gear, or maybe you live here and you've not really gotten into hiking, this is a good way to just like put your foot in the door, see if it's for you, because I know I'm not a huge hiker, but your backpacks that you guys provide come with some really essential things in them, like a medical kit and a bear bell, which is important right now.
I tested it out the other day. I took some people on the hike, and I can honestly say the bear bell works. We didn't see any bears.
It's that simple. And there's an entire lineup of backpacks behind us. So whether you're going for just that quick little hike or whether you're doing the big 14er, you've got everything you need. The size range is very extensive here.
Yeah, so we carry Osprey, Decline, Camelback as well. But the cool thing about these backpacks now is the hydration system. You can see on a lot of these packs, they have the hoses sticking out. They have the bladder inside the pack. So you're not carrying around water bottles anymore. It's right there. You're carrying it on your shoulders. Different size bladders, 1 litre, 2 litre. So yeah, it's going to keep you nice and hydrated for those nice long treks.
Those nice long treks. And the trekking poles are really important. And why are the trekking poles important?
They are important, maybe, to keep your balance, just like skiing. So, some people get out in some rough terrain. It's just nice to have that balance, planting that pole down so you're not falling down. The other thing I like about them too, when I've done some big 14ers, my hands tend to swell up. And I think having those poles kind of keep your hands up to where they're not dangling down. So I think it stops some of that swelling as well while you're hiking around on those long hikes.
And helps take some of that pressure off your knees when you're going downhill, which as avid skiers and snowboarders here in the valley, it's important that you keep your knees in good shape throughout the course of the summertime. Now, we've covered hiking, which you've got a lot of hiking stuff in here, from the rain jackets to the hiking shoes behind us, and then some really fun accessories that you have throughout for camping and getting out there and just enjoying nature. But then you guys also have a great plethora of bikes.
Yes, we do a bike rental program as well, but we also do retail bikes. We go deep with trek bikes. We have mountain bikes, full suspension, e-bikes, which have been really, really popular. You see everyone on e-bikes nowadays. Traditional path bikes as well. We sell them, we rent them. Yeah, come and see us. We've got lots of great trails here in Vail. Come and pick up a rental. You know, if you like that bike, we'll sell you a bike as well.
And speaking of selling bikes, you've got some kids at home, and I know that one of them is getting very into mountain biking, and so you guys have some options for the kiddos as well if the entire family is coming.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we've got it for mum, dad, grandma, grandpa, and the kids as well. Great range of kids' bikes.
Then, right around the corner, we're getting so close to the end of summer, which, I mean, we're not really that close, but we're approaching vastly to the end of summer now that the summer solstice is happening. Some of us are counting down those days till winter. You guys have some exciting stuff taking place around that.
We do. We have our traditional Powder Day sale. This year it's going to take place in West Vail. Powder Day sale, great discounts on all your ski gear, skis, outerwear, accessories, everything we're going to be selling off at a good discounted rate. That will start September 1st and will run through till September 9th, I believe.
Wow, which makes it easy for people to get out there, do some shopping, and especially as that winter season is approaching and we've seen so much moisture, that I'm going to just say that we might have a good winter. How are you feeling about
I
it?
totally agree. I think we're going to be in for a bumper year this year.
I'm really excited about that. And then with the kickoff of Powder Days is the kickoff of seasonal rentals in the West Vail location. That way, if you do have those kiddos at home that are growing so quickly and you want to get them in ski gear, your guys' seasonal rental program is one of the best in the Valley.
Yeah, I agree. I put my kids on it every year. Even before I was working with Christie's, it is a good program. We will kick off that seasonal rental program with the Powder Day sale at the West Vail location. So that will be September 1st. Come in, get your seasonal rentals. It's going to be a great discounted price. Last year, I think we were running it at about $150. That's skis and boots for the whole season and poles. And we also kick that off at the Avon location on October 1st. Sorry, I had to pause and think about that. October 1st at the Avon store. And again, West Vail, September 1st, in line with the Powder Day sale.
You guys have so many great things going on. And then let's talk a little bit about what you have happening in Avon. You guys do something very special there. If people are maybe now starting to enjoy their outdoor spaces a little bit more, that's the place to go to really revamp your outdoor space.
Yeah, so Avon, we do patio furniture. I've been doing that for quite a while now. So if you want to deck out your decks or your outside patio area, yeah, come and check out the guys in Avon. A huge amount of patio, umbrellas, fire pits, the deep seating. Yeah, it's just cool to go around and sit in the stuff. The stuff is so comfortable. It's really good stuff.
And so if people are looking to shop, there's so many great locations that you have throughout the Valley. Where are all of the locations and where can people go to find out more information?
Yes, we're open everywhere right now. We've opened up our Beaver Creek location for the first time in quite a few years, and they're doing bike rentals up there as well. They're open 9 to 5, as well as our West Vail location. Avon, with all the patio gear, they're doing hiking stuff and some paddle boards as well, I must say. They are open 10 to 6. And then you have our Vail and Lions Head location. Both of those guys are open 9 to 6, all hike, all bike. You can get your rentals at every location.
Jason, thank you so much for giving us all this great information and taking the time out of your morning to come and meet with me. Make sure if you have any outdoor needs, you stop by Christie Sports. They've got everything from hiking to biking to patio furniture, which will cover every aspect of your outdoor lifestyle. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of Good Morning Vail.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard. For the first time ever in the sport of slacklining, a world championship in highlining took place in Switzerland. Davis Hermes captured the men's title. Let's take a look back at our recent interview with Davis.
The Vail Valley produces such incredible athletes, and some of them have very unique talents. And I'm sitting with one of those athletes right now, Davis Hermes, who you do a very scary hobby.
Yeah, it's I think it looks a lot scarier than it is, you know, like you learn how to breathe through things, and every fear kind of goes away with like exposure therapy.
Right. Well, I mean, you're high off the ground. So for people who don't know what you do intense highline slacklining.
Yeah, so slacklining is like an umbrella term similar to skiing. So there's different divisions within skiing, like moguls, and there's park, and there's backcountry, and all sorts of things. Same thing with slacklining. There's highlining, and there's tricklining, and there's freestyle. And what I focus on specifically is highlining.
You're doing some pretty big tricks up there on the high line, though, and so you're doing a little bit, I feel like, a combination.
Yeah, so then if we're going to go deeper into like the divisions of slacklining, Highline Freestyle is the type of highlining that I do.
And how did you get into slacklining, and specifically this type of slacklining?
I saw it at the Gopro games in 2012, just tricklining, which is like a tight 2-inch webbing, where it's like a mix in between a balance beam and a trampoline. And I saw that and said, I knew I needed to do that. And got myself a line, really got after it, and then found a good mentor through just a string of emails. Gibbon at the time, a slackline company, was doing a come to your school and do like a outdoor education Friday type deal. And met this guy Josh, who ended up being my mentor, and brought me into highlining. And since then, that was in 2012 still. And yeah, it just had my heart.
Just like that. It's one of those things that you started and you just fell in love with. And so as you've progressed, how did you find your way into highlining from kind of that learning point?
When I went to my first highline, I didn't even know what highlining was. This guy Josh that I just mentioned invited us to this thing called GGBY, which is an event in Moab at Thanksgiving every year. And I thought it was just like a come slackline, like hang out at the park or whatever deal, and showed up to this huge canyon and had never seen highlining before and just was speechless. Still am, even when you see a highline, there's not much you can like, it's just like a wow moment. And yeah, that's how I kind of got into it. I just didn't know what I was getting into, and then saw it, and the rest is history, I guess.
I fell in love from that moment on. It's like a love at first sight situation. And so as you've kind of progressed and learned your way through all of these different aspects of slacklining, what is the scariest part? Because you are roped in, you have a harness, you're not just like out there free for all on these very scary, intense highlines.
Yeah, so you are leashed in. I think the scariest part is always like the first step in standing up. Just because you're not like quite in the flow yet, and you're getting out on a line, and it is something that's scary. In the beginning, I did say like yes, like it's something you learn to cope with. But you need like a second to really get in the groove and look around and take everything in and be like, okay, like this is okay. This is why I'm okay. Like I can look at my harness, like I'm tied in. Yeah. You
know you're safe. And so as you've been learning your tricks on the highline, what has been the hardest and scariest trick to learn so far?
Scariest trick is probably back flop, which is just like you're bouncing on your feet, obviously, and then you get to the top of the bounce, and it just looks like a backflip. But the line's really loose, so it's not like trick lining where you're above the line the whole time. The line will actually roll off of your shoulder, and then you grab it and put it back on your feet. Or in Korean, which is it's like straddle. That's probably the scariest just because it's really committing to just like kind of huck it backwards. And then the hardest was probably, it's called triple Yoda, which is it's a triple backflip. I was the first to do that one last fall. So that was like a relatively big deal, at least for me. And yeah, that one took a lot of motivation to grind through, because it's a lot of falling. It's not like, oh, I'm going to try this, you know? It's like learning anything. There's a lot of trial and error.
I'm the most embarrassingly klutzy human being to like ever walk. And so I could not imagine doing what you do, just because I have a hard time standing in one spot for too long without like shifting or wiggling or tipping over. And so what you do is so scary. And so as you're progressing, you're about to go on a big trip with slacklining and do a big competition, and you found a really cool community within the slackline community.
I did, yeah. That's one of my favorite parts about the sport is the community. I think because it's such a niche sport, it's very easy to connect with people, and like you meet another Highliner, you're like, this is great. You like the same thing as I do, and no one else does this. So that's good for like meeting people in person. Obviously, you know, it's a common connection, easy to talk about. And then when it comes to international things, it is still such a small community that you connect with a lot of slackliners through social media, FaceTime, things like that, and talk about ideas of new tricks or rigging things, just like a whole different range of things that you can talk about slackline related. Obviously, it's easy to kind of connect about.
And it's easy, I'm sure, to go down a rabbit hole once you meet someone who has the same knowledge about the sport as you do, because then you can just like rabbit hole.
For sure. Yeah, it's I had to catch myself just then. I almost started talking about just like what kind of rigging stuff we could talk about. But yeah, I like to nerd out about the sport for sure.
I mean, you could definitely nerd out. It's just you might have to like slow down and re-explain things because it might just go up and over my head. So something else that you do here in our community is you're also a Vail ski patroller, which keeps you really busy. The training there is intense. You guys spend a lot of time on snow. And do you think that's what keeps you in shape for the slacklining when the season comes back around?
I think the slacklining keeps me in shape for the ski patrol.
The reverse.
Yeah, in the summer I'm very like nomad, like cardio exercise type stuff is, I'd say, more of what the slacklining is. And then in ski patrol, I focus more on like strength stuff. But yeah, they're like different, but they work together for sure.
And through slacklining, you found a committee of sponsors. So we know that you have a local sponsor, Ski Town All Stars, which is a great hat company here who is awesome to work with in all capacities. And then you've got other more slackline specific companies that you work with.
Yeah, the team I'm under is Slackhouse. It's a Polish slackline company. They have 3 athletes, me being one of them, and then David, he's in the Canary Islands, and Taylor, and she's in Canada. And then, yeah, a few others. Drink Burke is a startup in Boulder that has been just a major help recently. And Swiss Slackline, who's hosting this competition in Switzerland that I'm going to, has been helping me out recently. Yeah.
Just a lot of really cool companies to come together and kind of help this dream move forward. So if you had any piece of advice that you wish someone would have given to you, or you would give to someone who's just getting into slacklining, what would it be?
Just keep doing it. It's hard. It really is something that's really difficult, and there's a really slow learning curve. But just keep doing it. This is like the best you can do. People are always, when they try the first time, like, oh, I could never do this, you know? And it's like, you can, like, it's just practice. No one just gets up and just starts like cruising across a high line or like a line in the park or anything. Like, it's something through the entire process that's a very slow learning curve.
How many hours in total would you say that you spend on a slackline in a year? I know, tough question. Putting you on the spot.
Too many.
Sorry.
I don't know. I mean, in a week, probably 20, maybe, in a week, like being on a slackline. Maybe that's an overestimate. I don't know. A lot.
A lot. I mean, it's part of your career now at this point. You've kind of gone down that path where you could take this into something much bigger than just a hobby that you're doing, because you're basically one of the few people doing what you're doing. So you're already at an elevated stance with your career in slacklining, and now you just have this great opportunity.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to make it like an official thing, for sure. It's a really interesting time for me because it's kind of like I'm just getting done with college, and it's like, do I want to really pursue slacklining, which is the goal right now, or kind of have it just be a hobby and have like a day job?
Day job. Well, I think you should. I think you should check out this slacklining thing because
For
you
sure.
do such an incredible job. And so, if people want to follow you, see what you're doing, and see how you're doing, and also these crazy tricks that you're doing, how can they do so?
My Instagram is basically all I use. Occasionally on Trickline Collective, it's a YouTube channel. There's like a more time-consuming video, but typically everything's just on my Instagram, and it's like if I land a new trick maybe, or just updates in the slackline world.
Which is really cool. And we just had the 2022 Gopro Mountain Games, which you got to participate in, and there's some insane footage of you like high-fiving kayakers under the line.
Yeah, that line's really fun. It's actually really small and short, which I'd like to complain about, but you can't because you get what you get. Yeah, that event in general is so amazing just because it's my hometown. It's where I saw slacklining for the first time, and now what exposed me to the sport is what I get to perform in. So that event's awesome.
Kind of goes full circle, which is amazing to hear, and it's so cool to see that here in our community.
For sure.
Davis, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today, give us all this great information, and good luck in Europe.
Thank you.
Make sure that you follow him on Instagram. That way you can see all the adventures that he's up to and to see how intense the slackline community and lifestyle is. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show.
Congratulations, Davis. That's all the time we have for today's episode of The Scoreboard. Remember, if you have a story idea, email us at scoreboard@tv8vail.com. We can't wait to hear from you. As always, visit our website, thescoreboardnation.com, to see content you may have missed. For Maddie Evans, I am Blake O'Rourke, and we will see you all right here next time on The Scoreboard.